We are Muslims who believe in the Messiah, Mirza Ghulam Ahmad of Qadian, who claim to be the reformer of this age as prophesied in the Holy Quran and in other scriptures. We established our Ahmadiyya Muslim community over 127 years ago in the small town of India. Now, by the grace of God, our community has been established in over 200 countries. The community is organized under a divine and spiritual leadership known as Khalifa or Caliph. We also launched Muslim for Life campaign, which was after 9/11, that we are here to save lives, not to waste human life, collect blood and save lives. The next campaign that we launched was Muslim for Loyalty. This is to show that the country you live in is the country you have the loyalty. This is what faith teaches us. Today we will hear also from our keynote speaker about true Islamic approach towards peace.
When you look at the history of religion, you look at the history of mankind, every founder of every faith has come with a message of peace. And at a time when the world was in utter darkness, that messenger's message resonated so well with the present day, or with the contemporary age, that people were gravitated towards it. This is what happened with the message of Jesus Christ, peace be on him. This is what happened with the message of Moses, peace be on him. And this is exactly what happened with the message of Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings of God be on all of them. And so when we talk about what is the Ahamadiyya Muslim community doing and what we're trying to do, it is exactly this. We are trying to convey to the world what the true teachings of Islam are. And the fact that, these religious teachings, whether you talk about Jesus' teachings, whether you talk about the teachings of the Quran, these are life-giving teachings. And so, under the guidance of His Holiness, the head of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community, Khalifa of Islam, Mirza Masroor Ahmad, the latest campaign that we've launched is called the True Islam Campaign. And what the True Islam Campaign seeks to do is to provide the true perspective, or the real perspective, based on the Holy Quranic teachings, as well as the example of our beloved Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings of God be upon him, as to what are the real teachings of Islam, and not the perverted teachings that you see, or the perverted concepts that you see being projected by ISIS and some of these anti-Islamic elements out there. So most of you, if you haven't, may have received one of these flyers as you walked in. And this flyer is basically a snapshot of our campaign, which is called the True Islam Campaign. The website is trueislam.com. And I will briefly, over the next 5 or 6 minutes, just want to talk very briefly about what is it that we're trying to do here. Well, what we're trying to do is, first of all, educate. We want to educate the non-Muslim world, certainly, but we also want to educate the Muslim world. We recognize that there is a lot of misunderstanding, particularly due to the extremist mullahs or the extremist clerics in the Muslim world, who seek and project a very twisted understanding of the Islamic teaching. So what we're trying to do is, we recognize that the best way to fight terrorism and the best way to fight extremism is to educate everyone with regard to what the true teachings are. Secondly, what we're trying to do is we're trying to get unity behind these teachings, or these 11 points. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights. There is tremendous emphasis on justice, on human rights, on ensuring that everyone is being treated with dignity, that everyone has the right to justice and access to justice, and that peace is established through justice for all. True Islam believes in all verses of the Holy Quran and forbids lying. There may be a lot of propaganda that you would hear about, that certain verses of the Holy Quran were abrogated by later verses of the Holy Quran. It's completely false. The Holy Quran talks about the adherence to truth, the importance of adherence to truth, and it declares that this is a perfect book. And so every single verse in the Holy Quran is valid now as it was then. The thing that you have to remember is that you have to take the teaching in its proper context. and understanding of the subject matter that is being talked about.
Dr. Iftikhar Ayaz was awarded honorary knighthood by Queen Elizabeth II in 2015 for his services to Tuvalu. The KBE marks the second time Ayaz has been honored by the Queen following his recognition as OBE Officer of the Order of the British Empire in 1998. Respectively are the highest honor that recognize a major contribution in any sphere, usually at the international level. Dr. Ayaz received his education in Qadian, India, but he moved to Tanzania at early age, where he received his secondary education. He has worked with several United Nations organizations such as FAO, UNESCO, UNDP. He also served as the National President of Ahamadiyya Muslim Community in UK from 1997 to 2001. He currently serves as the Consul General of Tuvalu in UK. With that, I will invite Sir Iftikhar Ayaz.
We believe, and we have experienced that true Islam, this is our faith and belief, is the path of righteousness that leads to everlasting inner peace, peace within the family, the surroundings, the community, the nation, the country, and beyond. However, the pace at which peace is fast disappearing is causing all of us, each and every person around the world, to worry. This includes religious people like ourselves and those who do not believe in any religion. They too are worried about peace. It includes believers in God, one God or many gods, and atheists who deny the very existence of God. The horrifying scenario around the world that we are witnessing today is very much like reverting back to the period of ignorance when personal ego and false pride led people to cut each other's throats and on a collective basis made tribes and dynasties indulge in barbaric acts. It is a matter of great sadness, therefore, and beyond one's understanding, that when some governments confront others in order to gain their political and economic objectives, it is the poor and peace-loving people of those countries that suffer in the ensuing tug of war. They are ground in the milestone of hunger, poverty, displacement, injustice, and cruelty. What is the fault? What is the fault of the innocent children who do not even understand this struggle or religious rivalry or political and economic superiority for which some countries or political parties are vying? Then we observe that this matter does not stop there. The anger and prejudice reach such heights that bullets and bombs are showered without discrimination. Innocent citizens, women and children risk their lives in such areas and countries. Hundreds of thousands of them have been and are being killed by the foreign forces and by their fellow countrymen. Very, very tragic. By their fellow countrymen who, in their vanity, think that they are serving the cause of God. Because of such atrocities, hundreds of millions of people have been made homeless and continue to flee to seek refuge and going through appalling, tragic suffering. Thousands of them have drowned or died en route. Today, some people maintain, and they propagate as well, that these destructions are caused because religions have created divisions, and believers in God are committing these crimes in the name of God. This is an absurd calumny against religion and God, particularly true Islam. Just think How many wars have been fought in the name of religion? In our own times, we have seen massive destruction of millions of people and properties which had nothing to do with religion, any religion. Yet, if we look at the history of religion, we see that no prophet had ever preached the killing of others. If subsequently the teachings are twisted and given wrong interpretations, as unfortunately some people professing to be Muslims have done, it is not the fault of the prophet, nor is it the fault of his teachings. Neither can we blame God that he sent a prophet to create discord, nor we can, God forbid, ever visualize that his prophets gathered the people in the name of God to try and create disorder in the world instead of peace. If we continue with such unfounded allegations, we may even reach a stage where the very purpose of creation of human beings could be attributed to cause disorder in the world. According to Islam, God has made humans the most superior of all creations. They have been given the faculty to think and rationalize. They are endowed with the ability to increase their knowledge, to excel in high moral values, but above all, to surpass in spirituality, to submit to their Creator, and to learn to bow before Him and seek His help in difficult circumstances. This indeed has been the teaching of all prophets, especially the founder of Islam, Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings of God be upon him. Now, if someone does not act on these teachings, we can neither blame the prophets nor God. In my humble presentation today, let me share with you the teachings of true Islam that are given in the Holy Quran to establish peace on earth. That indeed is the call of the time, because of the misconceptions, misunderstandings, and misinterpretations proliferated against true Islam. And the media portraying Islam as the cause of terrorism and destruction of life and peace. The vision of God that is given in the Holy Quran with reference to peace is, and I quote, "He is Allah and there is no God beside Him, the Sovereign, the Holy One, the source of peace, the bestower of security, the protector, the mighty, the subduer, the exalted. Holy is Allah, far above that which they associate with Him." I would like to strongly emphasize that it is God, our Creator, it is God, our Creator, who is the source of peace and the bestower of security. It is quite obvious from this verse that the one who is the source of peace and the bestower of security, how can He cause His faithful followers to destroy peace and security on this earth? Such behavior, destroying peace, our peace, your peace, is solely for the account of those who reject God and His peaceful teachings. It is only those whose deeds and actions conform with the teachings of God and His prophet who can merit to be true followers of God. One of the attributes of God that has been mentioned in the Holy Quran is that He dislikes those who violate peace. God does not like such people at all. According to true Islam, God metes out punishment to such people. If not in this world, then certainly in the hereafter, in the next world. And those who spread peace, those people, those humans who spread peace on this earth, God loves them, God likes them, and God blesses them in this world, and He will bless them in the hereafter. All religions, Islam, Christianity, Sikhism, Hinduism, according to Islam, have been endeavoring, continue to endeavor to bring humans back to their Creator on the one hand, and to establish an ideal relationship with their fellow human beings on the other, without any discrimination at all of ethnicity, language, religion, faith, or whatever. A religion which does not inculcate universal compassion, I would say, is no religion at all. Similarly, a human being without the faculty of compassion, I would say, is no human at all. The worldwide Ahmadiyya Muslim Community, which has been founded upon the teachings and traditions of true Islam, upholds this fundamental point of love and peace and practices and preaches it to others in this country and elsewhere in the world. We are present in over 207 countries of the world, and this is our message everywhere to all the people. Peace can be established in this world if only everyone recognizes God. This is very important. The recognition of God is very important. We cannot really have true peace if we do not recognize our Creator in whatever form we wish to recognize, but we should recognize our Creator and His blessings and His bounties and the wonderful things He's doing for us on this planet. God, and understand this point, that it is by loving the Creator alone that we can love His creation. This will eliminate the selfishness in us, and we will rise above ourselves and thus be beneficial to others. Let me emphasize that for peace in our lives and in our homes, relationship with God is paramount. When I was young, we used to be told in school, a family that prays together stays together. And I think it is still true. And a lot of people practice that. A home devoid of the love of worship of God is a home without true peace, without true peace. This sense of loving the Creator will individually and collectively strengthen our vision that we have not only to establish peace in our own homes and surroundings, but also create peace and security in the whole country, in the whole world, but through our conduct and behavior. Not only through preaching and talking about peace, but trying to make peace a part of our lifestyle, trying to make peace, understand peace, because peace is as much important to me as it is to others. And unless I'm prepared to do things which will give peace to others, I cannot have peace at all. So this is very important. This is very important that our conduct and behavior should conform with the commandments of God to bring peace to ourselves and to others as well. We must also understand that the spirit of true justice, the spirit of true justice is a prerequisite not only of true Islam, but also of peace. Without true justice, it is very hard to accomplish or achieve peace. Justice, in fact, is one of the principal pillars of true Islam and other religions as well, I believe. In this connection, God Almighty, who calls Himself King of all kings in the Holy Quran, tells us that peace will only come about with justice and benevolence. It does not need much to agree. And I'm sure you will agree that the root cause of the maladies of the world today is deprivation of justice. In the Holy Quran, God Almighty says, O ye who believe, Be steadfast in the cause of Allah, bearing witness in equity, and let not a people's enmity incite you to act otherwise than with justice. Be always just. That is nearer to righteousness. And fear Allah. Surely Allah is aware of what you do. The founder of the Ahamadiyya Muslim Community, Hazrat Mirza Ghulam Ahmad, peace be upon him, who has been designated by Allah, by God, to revive true Islam. And most of us sitting here, the members of the Ahamadiyya community, are a witness that his mission to do so is succeeding gloriously. He states in this respect that Allah the Almighty says about justice that it cannot be achieved without truthfulness, that your enmity towards enemy nations should not hinder you from dispensing justice. You remain just because righteousness lies in it. It doesn't mean that enmity should continue always. Enmity should end as soon as possible. The spirit of reconciliation should be overwhelming in our nature. And once we have reached an understanding of goodness, of goodwill, then no injustice should occur between us, between nations, or between societies. Therefore, the foundation of justice will be laid in this world only when each and every individual of the society realizes that he has to win the pleasure of the Creator by following His commandments. A very key issue in our lives to do good and be of benefit to others is to do things for the pleasure of Allah. I want to do good because I want to please my Creator. I don't want to do things because I want your good compliments and I want praise and I want this and I want that. Those things will not last for very long. But I want to do good things because I want the good friendship, the good faith, the good companionship of my Lord, of my Creator. That is why I do good things. And that is the way we can lead on to fulfilling those commandments which Allah has given us. And such individuals who live a life of that sort, they collectively create peace on a broad basis. And this is what the Ahamadiyya Muslim community is trying to do throughout the world, as I said earlier. Although this commandment of God Almighty is addressed to Muslims about justice, but it holds a status of a charter for general peace in the whole world. The Holy Quran again says, and if two parties of believers fight against each other, make peace between them. Then, if after that one of them transgresses against the other, fight the party that transgresses until it returns to the command of Allah. Then, if it returns, make peace between them with equity and act justly. Verily, Allah loves the just. This great teaching can guarantee world peace today, but we will have to rise above personal and political interests. Only then can we act in this manner. If today the United Nations adopts this principle for all countries, great or small, then the conspiracies to capture the resources of other countries or to subdue other countries can be nipped in the bud. This is what I believe. We will only have true peace in the world when nations and countries try to establish peace in this way. Peace will remain a dream as long as every nation considers its political and national interests above all others. As I have said before, this will only come about when the world begins to look towards its Creator and follow His teachings. Even now, there is time to change this dream of world peace into reality. Otherwise, the path that the world is following today, and we all believe, or most of us would agree, is the path that the world is following today is a perilous path. Although many of the world's large countries are trying to do something, their efforts ignore the dimension of their Creator, and their personal and political interests become paramount. In this respect, in order to promote world awareness and solidarity for peace, in 1981, United Nations General Assembly passed a resolution making a special day for declaring the International Day of Peace to be observed each year on 31st of September. It is devoted to commemorating and strengthening the ideals of peace. However, I don't understand, you will probably understand it better. Since that day, no American president, Republican or Democrat, has officially recognized this global day of commemorating peace, celebrated by more than 1 billion people last year. However, the requirements of true justice and equity for lasting peace, as stated in the Holy Quran, are verily Allah enjoins justice and the doing of good to others, and giving light kindred, and forbids indecency and manifest evil and transgression. He admonishes you that you may take heed. We can see many such examples in the life of the Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings of God be upon him, and Islamic history. But the genuine, real urge for peace comes from the heart, and the voice that comes from the heart is only one that establishes real peace, because it is based on love and warmth. There are many such incidents during the time of the Holy Prophet, peace and blessings of God be upon him, and the real reason was that those people were standard bearers of justice and equity, because they had real fear of God in their hearts. And today, the followers of true Islam, the members of the Ahamadiyya Muslim community, are indeed the flag bearers of peace everywhere in the world. Much of Prophet Muhammad's life after being commissioned was devoted to ensuring that all conflicts in society were minimized or reduced or eradicated completely. On arrival at Medina after his emigration from Mecca, the Prophet devoted himself to the organization of the city. Medina at that time was divided into tribal and religious factions, in which Jewish tribes and the Arab tribes were in constant rivalry. Occasionally these hostilities erupted in the form of fighting. The Prophet's sense of conciliation and harmony quickly realized that a lasting peace was only possible if it was based on goodwill and support of all sections of the society without any discrimination of faith or belief. With this objective in mind, the Prophet formulated a charter for the people of Medina, which was also known as the Constitution of Medina. Under this charter, all blood feuds were abolished and equal rights were given to all residents of the city without any discrimination. Fighting and killing was so abhorrent to the Prophet's nature that seldom in the many armed conflicts in which he participated did he actually use his own weapon. Most of the times, even during the heat of the battle, he preferred to pray to his Lord rather than injure another human being. The Holy Prophet, peace and blessings of God be upon him, had suffered many personal injuries and indignities during his stay in Mecca. Even in Medina, he remained the target of personal abuse by many people. But throughout these tribulations, he never once raised his own hand against his offenders, not even in self-defense. Many a time, this irritated even his closest companions, who were more than ready to lay down their lives to protect the Prophet's honor. When he did participate in armed conflicts, it was more to defend his followers, not until the enemy actually marched against him in battle, and not until specific injunctions had come down from Allah in the Holy Quran regarding fighting did the Prophet feel it necessary to fight even in self-defense. Attention to the rights of religious minorities was a major concern of the Holy Prophet of Islam. Peace and blessings of God be upon him. The Prophet granted a special charter to the Christians. Under the terms of this charter, Christians were free to practice their faith and carry out their pilgrimage, and no unfair taxation was to be imposed upon them. No churches were to be abolished. No churches were to be pulled down for the building of mosques. And the Muslims, actually, the Prophet directed the Muslims to go and help the Christians in the repair and the building of their churches. Throughout his life, from his adolescence to his death, the Holy Prophet of Islam promoted peace among his people in one form or another. The Holy Prophet of Islam has taught us a golden principle. And what is that principle? And that principle is to choose for your brothers, choose for your sisters, choose for others what you choose for yourself. This is something very important, because the lack of peace is caused by an anxiety of the heart. And these anxieties are born whenever deprivation is felt, when one feels oppressed, when one feels inferior and feels that there is no hope for justice, when the gap widens between the rich and the poor, when one feels that there is a lack of equal opportunities for progress, and when a country tries to prove its supremacy over another, and in the name of a superior power tries to take hold of the resources of another country. When this golden principle is forgotten, of choosing for your brother, for your sister, what you choose for yourself, then these and many other similar factors blow peace into pieces. Loyalty is born from feelings of love and affection. At a personal level, the feeling of love strengthens the feeling of loyalty. When a citizen loves his country, then he exhibits allegiance and makes sacrifices for the sake of the nation. Peace requires humility. Peace requires honesty, trustworthiness, righteous conduct, and equitable treatment of all members of a given society. And that is the teaching of true Islam. Thus, the foundation of peace rests upon proper respect of human life, and recognition of the rights of all individuals without discrimination. The Ahamadiyya Muslim Community, which is the embodiment of true Islam, has created a society which abhors violence and terrorism, which respects human rights, freedom of religion and expression, the fundamental basic needs of shelter, clothing, and food for all humans everywhere in the world, the rights of women, and the provision of educational and health facilities to all. Those are the fundamentals. Those are the fundamentals to structure a peaceful society where justice and harmony prevail. Today, in every country, people of different religions live side by side. Therefore, it is necessary and it is the need of the time that within our cosmopolitan societies, the bond of love and affection should be strengthened. Respect and honor for one another should be inculcated. Allegiance to one's country should be infused amongst the entire society. And most importantly, the love of God should be instilled in the hearts of the people. Peace is not something that is practiced only at the level of state, but it begins in the very homes where people live and their families. This deep and profound philosophy of peace is so elegantly preserved in the farewell address of the Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings of God be upon him, which he gave during his last pilgrimage to Mecca. It was his last will and testament to the Muslims and indeed to entire mankind. In his address, the Prophet said that he particularly emphasized that for establishing a lasting peace among the people, they must try to work together. His injunctions to respect the life and possessions of other people, his exhortation to treat other people with justice and equity, his constant reminder to take care of wives, to treat slaves well, and be like brothers and sisters to each other, his parting injunctions to forget all bloodshed and forgive interest on all borrowed money. These are fundamental principles of achieving peace. harmony and accord among the various factions of the society. Therefore, countries who want to be standard bearers of peace should sit down together and work out how the world can be saved from destruction. When thinking of that, they should remember their Creator and then think for the betterment of His creation. The present head of the worldwide Ahamadiyya Muslim Community, Hazrat Mirza Masroor Ahmad, has been addressing world leaders, and you saw that in the video which was shown here a while ago, to follow the path of lasting peace by adhering to the fundamentals of peace given by Islam. In his recent keynote address at the National Peace Symposium in the United Kingdom last month, His Holiness spoke of the fundamental need for justice and equity at all levels of society in order for genuine and long-lasting peace to be established. He called on the media to use its influence as a force for good and a force for peace by publicizing the positive activities of the majority of Muslims across the world, as opposed to the tiny minority who were perpetrating mass cruelties falsely in the name of Islam. Why should the name Islam be associated with such people or groups who engage in violence, terrorism, and ruthless, merciless destruction of humanity? The Turkish president last week questioned the meaning of jihadists. According to true Islam, jihad is a sacred activity for self-reformation and spiritual advancement and does not involve engaging in terrorist activities. Such activities have nothing to do with Islam or any other religion. The efforts of the Ahamadiyya Muslim community in promoting peace throughout the world have been highly commended and praised by world leaders. As for example, and you heard a number of leaders in the video which was shown here, their very, very complimentary remarks. But I will just mention a couple here. The Right Honorable Stephen Harper, former Prime Minister of Canada, he stated, "Your belief in tolerance and harmony endures. In this, you make an inspiring contribution to our values. You strengthen Canada's commitment to diversity and pluralism."